Looks it's Nick's forecast. It's 21st March. How's it going? Anyway, I'm coming to you today. The weather's starting to change over. Nice little rain, but some good sun. Weather finally. Anyway, say I just want today a few things. First, I want to talk about how to build credit. And for a lot of you buyers out there, since there's all this stuff I keep seeing out there on credit and how to build it, and a lot of it's BS. It's pretty easy to do. Um, and for people that don't have any credit, basically getting the credit cards, two ways to do it. One, building your credit's important because you need to get it so you can get a mortgage to get a house. So here's a couple things I'm going to tell you to do, and you can start building it on multiple tracks. One for your personal and one for building commercial one if you want to do that. So an LLC, that's a first off, and that's for your commercial. Um, It's just up. If you have one or two or three of them, that's good. They're not that expensive to get, depending on state. So that's just put that aside for commercial. Let's talk about residential, so you can get a house. Since I was a mortgage broker for a long time and a company, so I pretty much know every in and out. A lot of it's pretty lame. So the first thing I would do is walk into your local bank and find out if you can give them $250 or $500 for a card, a Visa or MasterCard, and get that. It'll take about a year and a half to build out, but you want to use it every month. So go take out $50 to $100. I'd say take out $100, wait for the bill to come, and then turn around and pay it off. You want to do that. Then the next thing you want to do is go online and go to Google and in there put credit cards or put credit cards basically with no credit. And basically you're going to start off. There's going to be some BS fees on it, but you'll have to pay some money on it to get it. It might be $200 or whatever. That's what you want to do. And what happens is go ahead and use it every month. So you take out $100 and you take out $100, wait for the bill, and you pay it off. And you do this each month. You get 4 credit cards. And you do this after 6 months, they'll generally give you a raise. Your bank card, Visa or Master, they won't do it. Usually takes a year and a half, but that's the way to go. And then your other cards will keep giving you a raise 6 months. And you do that for a year and a half. I usually tell people about a year and a half. I've had to help people do this where I've had to wait a year and a half, 2 years to get it up. Some a year. Yeah, and there are some faster ways you can do it, but realistically, it's got that kind of cash to do that. So this is what you want to do to build that out. Also, too, I mean, if you have a card payment or whatever, keep paying on that. And necessarily don't pay your card payment off right away. Basically, keep paying on that because it shows you credit that you can make payments. And so essentially what you're doing is putting money on the card, and you're essentially taking the money out and then getting a money order or a cashier's check. You just need a money order, and it costs you $1, and just go ahead and pay it off each month. And you keep doing that. Don't use it for anything personal. Don't buy anything with it unless you have to do it. Don't do it. And this is how you're going to go ahead and build it. So get into a 680 or 700 score. And I've done this for a lot of people. This is the easy way to do it and a simple way to do it. And this is kind of to do. Sorry, some stupid fly thing and things. Anyways, this is kind of an easy way to go and easier for you to get the card and to get the credit you need, because your goal essentially what you need to do is you need to have the 3, usually 4 lines, let's say 4. You want to have it of $1,000 or more. So you may not have any payments. Oh, you have no credit. This is how you build it. So to do, generally you can't go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and get one, not their program, but they have another program for credit if you're building something like an addition to a house or whatever. And they have these loans you can get essentially on credit cards to do it. So this is a good way to work it too. If you guys are building houses out or apartment buildings, this is a way to work it to get some credit and build it that way. But you can never miss a payment. You got to be on time, because any miss a payment is going to screw you. And let's talk about the underwriter. After you get your credit scores up and you watch it, don't pull your credit. you want to don't pull your credit. You wait about 7 or 8 months. Then if you have a mortgage broker, then pull it because they give you a tri-merge, or you can pull it online yourself and pay for it. So this is a way to do it. And so you have the tri-merge. You got to have the tri-merge because you need to see what the mid score is and what your other two. Because they always look at all these scores. Experian, they look at the most because it's the granddaddy of it because it's been around for 50 years or whatever. And these are things you look at now in a commercial sense. If you've got an LLC, you pick up a few cards, you go to the same bank, you get a credit card for your business, and you put some money down on that, and then you go ahead and you use that, and then you get some credit cards for your business and start building up your business credit line. Also, too, if you're able to possibly get something from Home Depot's, Lowe's, Menards, if you live in the Midwest, they have Menards in the West Coast and East Coast, but they don't. Pretty cool stuff. They have some better pricing on certain things. Just letting you guys know because you guys don't have that. So, and so these are ways you can build your credit, or there might be some other ways as far as going to other stores and building credit that way that you can use. But the thing is, you got to be able to pay your bill and you don't debt yourself. So it's the same principle for residential as it is for business. And what happens is you're building two different things. On your business, you're building your business score, and you're building that out. So, two, building your credit rating. Also, two, in the residential, you're building that also. And so you can run two tracks. And yeah, it takes some money, but that's just kind of how it goes. But it's a way you can build stuff out. Because eventually what will happen is the credit cards will end up turning into cards where you don't ever have to put any money down. The fees will be lower, and you get after one, you get a whole bunch of credit cards in there. And your credit scores in the high 600s, maybe 700s, and you might get some stuff like $200, $5,000, $10,000 credit cards you want to get. And you got to watch your credit and don't overspend and don't do stupid stuff. You got to keep a tight rein on it. So I usually tell people, take one credit card out, leave the rest at home unless you need it. You just keep one credit card for emergency, keep it home, and you use them every other month after 1 year and switch the card around. Use one card, use another card, and switch out. And as you build it up. And so what happens is you're trying to keep everything on the level. Now the problem is for a lot of people is that with the economy the way it is, in the middle class being completely rubbed out, even the upper middle class in some areas being rubbed out, you got to keep a tight rein on the bank book. So these are just things that you need to know. There's a lot of things you know anyways. So you're not really preaching to the choir. So these are things to think about as far as that goes. Because it's cool when you can do it and you got the credit. Because when you got the credit, that means you can get more money doing other stuff, and you can build other out, which is pretty cool. Let me see. I was checking something here. Hold on a minute here. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a basic, some real basics on credit, and let's see here. Oh, so anyways, and also I want to talk about a few other things too, as far as mortgages go. So there's one company that came out with this program's not new. There's other companies that do now, and so bank statement programs for people with decent credit. It's just an alternative way. This one company, mortgage company, I kind of took some of the stuff that other companies are doing this right now, and they're calling it non-QM, which is non-qualified mortgage, which is pretty lame. But so bank statements, basically, they've been back for a while. Bank statements, I used to do that actually falls into a subprime loan, essentially non-conforming. Jumbo loans, basically on the non-conforming side, and investor loans on the non-conforming side. Well, all these loans, basically, these are outside their normal box. These are what they call Alt-A or non-conforming, especially the bank statements. And so I've had a couple other funders or mortgage brokers that have funders that'll actually do bank statements. And I used to do a lot of bank type loans, so they fall under non-conforming. the rates on, I mean, the basically the scoring, it'll vary. I mean, you can go down as low as probably 640, 650, 660. We used to be able to go down as low as 500, where I could do bank statements and do a carryback and all this other cool stuff that I could get away with because there's a lot of cheap money around like there is now. Things are a little more stringent on some of the stuff because they don't want a 2008 repeat, but they're going to have a 2008 repeat anyways, and it's going to hit pretty hard. It's probably going to be worse. And the funny part is on Inman News today, here's a thing for real estate agents: will your income survive a market downturn? So basically, Grant Cardone was talking about basically how big are you? If you're not big enough, you're going to get crushed. I know because I got crushed, even though I had a bunch of money in this and that, but I got crushed in 2008. So 1 week, boom, I got nailed. Let's see here. That was kind of an interesting one. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was that, and the mortgages to me were probably interesting. But a downturn, yeah, that could be a big deal just for the fact that it's going to happen and know it's going to happen. And even though they're going to raise interest rates today, the Fed chairman, because of control inflation, quote unquote, but they really haven't, got off their duffs and done anything at one point. Like I said, anything under 6% is pretty good. So basically, with people with credit and you build your credit out, this is going to help you buy because there's more and more homes that are starting to stay on the market longer and it's starting to open up. Now, I'm talking if you're in a high choice, high end area in a specific area, that's going to be a different deal. So you just kind of have to let that go. It's just one of those things. But see, a lot of areas aren't that way, and they're more middle class driven. So the areas are going to open up. There's going to be more inventory is going to start coming to the market because they had a 7 to 8%, 9% as far as the housing availability. And that's just not the NRA, but there's some other shilling, but there's some other data out there too besides them. And I don't always use them because their data science isn't always that correct. So if you're pretty soon, you wait a little longer, you might want to wait 6 months before you buy, and as the market's going to open up. Now there's going to be change in the mortgage market, and 2000 repeats coming. Investors that got cash are going to be able to really rock it, and the mortgage thing is going to get kind of screwy. But if you got your basics down and you got the credit and you got all your ducks in a row and everything else, you should be good to go. So if you're a real estate agent, your mortgage broker, you better be ready for the swing because that swing is coming. The boomerang, like Tom Ferry talks about and Cardone talks about, because there's a boomerang coming. And so a lot of it has to do with size and how well you're going to adjust. But even then, there's going to be issues with that. So I know because I've been through it. So anyways, so the credit, I gave you kind of a basic credit and how to build it. I don't want to get into super detail about it. I will later on, but I just want to use some basics so you can rebuild your credit and get it scored away, especially if you don't have any credit if you're a buyer. And so you kind of know what's going on as far as that goes. It's a lot simpler than it looks. And like I said, a lot of these credit scoring companies, some are okay, some aren't so good. And the ways you can build the credit yourself because you really don't need them to do it. And a lot of times credit scoring companies are there to rebuild people that have had issues in the past. So for you to have no credit, this is the way to do it. And this is how you build it out. It's going to be some time process and discipline because that's what's going to take you through. And for the investors, it's basically discipline too, and trying to find out what you want and what you want to do and how to build your credit out even more so you can get more cash to buy more apartment buildings. So anyways, you got any questions, go to nickforecast.com, nickforecast.com. Also, you need funding for business. And I got a special program out for investors. This is a pretty high speed program. And also, too, I've got a lot of commercial real estate programs. Also, too, I've got a program if you're building something. Basically, when you're buying property, you need to build it out. It goes up to 90%. Nobody's got it. So, anyways, go to cobrafunds.biz, nickforecast.com, cobrafunds.biz, and then I'll see Facebook at Nick's Forecast. All right, have a good one. Later.